The Federation ship Harmony's light dropped out of hyperspace near the small blue planet. Captain Vexithara looked at the readings with her 3 eyes and felt confused. The planet was covered in water and green land. It looked peaceful. "This cannot be right," she said to her science officer. "The computer says this world has dangerous life forms, but it looks so calm." High Counselor Morden floated beside her command chair. His gas body glowed dim blue with worry. "Captain, we are running out of time. The Void Swarm destroyed another star system yesterday. We need allies, even from a death world." Vexithara touched her scales nervously. The war had been going badly. For 3 years. The swarm ate planets like fruit. They turned everything into more of themselves. Half the galaxy was gone already. "Send the message," she ordered. Down on Earth, Dr. Park Jin-A was working late in her lab in Seoul. She studied alien life forms that other worlds had sent to Earth years ago. Most of them died quickly. Earth was too harsh for them. Her computer made a loud beeping sound. A message was coming from space. Jin-A dropped her coffee cup. "This is the Galactic Federation," the voice said through the translator. "We need to talk to your leaders. We are at war. We need help." Jin-A ran to find Ambassador Choi Byung-soo. He was sleeping in his office again. The old man worked too hard trying to keep peace between Earth's nations. "Ambassador, wake up." Jin-A shook his shoulder. "The aliens are here. They want to talk." Byung-soo sat up fast. His gray hair was messy. "Are they attacking?" "No. They say they need help. They are losing a war." Within 6 hours, Captain Lee Tae-ho stood in the meeting room with the other Earth leaders. He had fought in many wars on Earth. He knew what desperation looked like. The aliens looked very desperate. The hologram of Captain Vexithara appeared before them. Her reptile face was tired. Her scales were dull. "Humans of Earth," she began. "We come asking for help. The Void Swarm is destroying everything. They have already eaten 60% of our worlds." Ambassador Byung-soo leaned forward. "What is this Void Swarm?" High Counselor Mordun's gas form swirled as he spoke. "They are like insects, but the size of ships. They eat planets and turn them into more swarms. Nothing stops them. They do not talk. They do not make peace, they only eat." Dr. Jin-A asked, "Why do you need Earth? We are just one small planet." Captain Vexithara's 3 eyes blinked slowly. "Because your world is a death world. The computer says your planet has more dangerous creatures than any world we know. Most Federation species would die in minutes on your surface." Captain Lee laughed. "Dangerous? Earth is our home. It is beautiful. You live with creatures that could kill our strongest warriors," Mordun said. "The scans show beasts with teeth longer than swords. Creatures that hunt in groups. Animals that can crush metal with their jaws." The humans looked at each other. Jin-A spoke first. "You mean lions and tigers? Bears and sharks? Those names mean nothing to us," Vexithara said. "But yes, you're apex predators. How do you survive with such monsters?" Tae-ho smiled. "They are not monsters. They are our neighbors. Some are our friends." The aliens were quiet for a long moment. Finally, Morden spoke. "Friends? You are friends with apex predators?" "Some of them, yes," Byung-soo said. "We have lived together for thousands of years. We learned to respect each other." Vexthara's scales changed color to show amazement. "This is impossible. Apex predators cannot be reasoned with. They only kill." "Not on Earth," Jin-A said. "On Earth, everything learned to work together or it died. Even the biggest predators need help sometimes." The aliens shared data files with the humans. The pictures were horrible. Worlds covered in black, moving masses. Ships the size of moons, made from living flesh. Creatures that looked like nightmares eating everything in their path. "We have tried everything," Vexithara said. "Our weapons barely hurt them. Our ships are too slow. Our soldiers do not know how to hunt them." "Hunt them?" Tae-ho asked. "Yes. The swarm are like giant predators, but we forgot how to be predators ourselves. We became civilized. We forgot the old ways." The Earth leaders talked quietly among themselves. Then Byung-Soo stood up. "We will help you," he said. "But we have one condition." "Anything," Mordun said quickly. "We do not fight alone. If Earth goes to war, we bring Earth with us." Vexithara looked confused. "What does that mean?" Taeho's smile was not friendly anymore. It was the smile of a hunter. "It means we bring our friends. All of them. Your friends. The apex predators you are so afraid of. The tigers, the sharks, the bears, the wolves. They come with us." The aliens were silent for a very long time. Finally, Vexithara spoke. "You want to bring Death World predators into space? Into combat?" "They are already in combat," Jin'e said. "They have been fighting for millions of years on Earth. They know how to hunt better than anyone." "This is insane," Mordun whispered. "This is Earth," Taeho said. "We do not abandon our pack. Ever." Vexithara looked at her advisors. They were running out of time. Another world had probably died while they were talking. "If we agree to this madness, what do you need?" Byung-Soo smiled. "Ships big enough for our friends. Armor that fits them. And most importantly, trust us, we know how to hunt." The aliens agreed. They had no choice. The alternative was watching the galaxy die. As the meeting ended, Captain Lee walked to the window. He could see the city below. Somewhere out there, in zoos and reserves and training centers, Earth's greatest predators were waiting. They did not know it yet, but they were about to become soldiers in a war among the stars. Taeho touched his radio. "This is Earth Command to all units. Begin Operation Pack Hunt. It is time to show the galaxy what Earth's children can do." In the distance, a wolf howled. It sounded like a war cry. The galaxy was about to learn why Earth was called a death world, and why humans had survived on it for so long. It was not because they were the strongest. It was because they knew how to make the strongest creatures their allies. The real war was about to begin. 3 weeks after first contact, Federation ships filled Earth's orbit. The aliens had never seen anything like the activity below. Humans were moving fast, but they were not panicking. They were preparing. Dr. Shin Woo-jin stood in his laboratory in Busan, looking at the genetic data on his screens. He had been working with Earth's predators for 15 years. Now his work would save the galaxy. "The enhancement process is simple," he explained to the Federation scientists watching through video link. "We do not change what they are. We make them better at being themselves." Captain Vexithara watched from her ship. "Enhancement? You are making them more dangerous, stronger, faster, smarter," Woo-jin said. "But still the same animals our people have worked with for generations." On the screen, a massive polar bear walked into the lab. It wore a collar with lights and moved like a white mountain. Behind it walked handler Kim Do-won. He was small next to the bear, but the bear followed him like a loyal dog. "This is Beck," Do-won said, scratching behind the bear's ears. "We have been partners for 8 years. He trusts me. I trust him." The Federation. Scientists made worried sounds. The bear was twice the size of their strongest warriors. "How do you control it?" asked Dr. Yilmoth, a thin alien with too many arms. Do-won looked confused. "Control? I do not control Bayek. We work together. He is my friend." Beck made a soft rumbling sound and pressed his huge head against Do-won's shoulder. The man smiled and gave the bear a fish. "Impossible," whispered Counselor Zektar from his floating chair. "Apex predators cannot form emotional bonds with other species." "Tell that to them," Woo-jin said. The camera moved to another part of the facility. Marine Sergeant Yoon Ha-na sat in the middle of 4 Siberian tigers. Each tiger was bigger than Earth's normal tigers. Their muscles moved like liquid power under orange and black fur. "These are my girls," Hana said, rubbing the head of the nearest tiger. "Sul, Dal, Buell, and Hyatt. We have trained together for 3 years." The tiger called Sul purred like a giant engine. She rubbed against Hana like a house cat, but she weighed 400 kilograms. High Counselor Mordun's gas form turned bright yellow with fear. "This is madness. Those creatures could kill her in seconds." "They could," Hana agreed, But they will not. We are family. The tour continued. Pilot Kang Min-ho showed off his aerial team. Golden eagles with wings longer than a man was tall. Hawks with eyes like lasers. Ravens that could solve puzzles better than some alien species. Air support, Min-ho explained as a golden eagle landed on his arm. The bird's talons could crush steel, but it was gentle with the human. They see everything from above. They are our eyes in the sky. In the ocean facilities, the Federation saw things that made them question reality. Orcas wearing communication devices worked with human divers. Great white sharks swam peacefully next to people in special suits. Dolphins clicked and whistled in complex patterns that sounded like language. The dolphins are translating for the sharks, explained handler Osirim as she floated next to a 5-meter great white. Sharks are smart, but dolphins are better at talking to us. The shark turned its black eyes toward the camera. For a moment, it looked directly at the watching aliens. They all moved back from their screens. It is looking at us, Yilmoth said with a shaking voice. She, O corrected. Her name is Pado. She is curious about you. She has never seen aliens before. But the most shocking sight was in the mountain facilities. Lieutenant Colonel Bei Su-ho walked through a forest clearing surrounded by wolves. Not just a few wolves, dozens of them. They moved around him like gray shadows. Wolves taught humans how to hunt together, Su-ho explained. They were our first teachers. Now we return the favor. A huge black wolf walked up to Su-ho and looked at the camera with yellow eyes. The wolf was the size of a small horse. This is Nuke, the pack leader, Su-ho said. He decides who we hunt with. If he does not trust you, his pack will not work with you. Nuke sniffed the air and made a low sound. The other wolves gathered around Su-ho in a circle. They were protecting him. They know about your war, Su-ho said. Animals can smell fear. They know something big is coming. Captain Vexathara had to sit down. How many of these creatures do you have? Enough, said General Huang Jiwu, who had joined the call. He was Earth's military commander for the operation. We have been preparing for this kind of war our whole history. We just did not know it would be in space. What do you mean? Asked Morden. Earth is a battlefield, Huang explained. It has always been a battlefield. Every day something hunts and something is hunted. Every animal that survived learned how to fight, how to hide, how to work together. We have millions of years of evolution that made perfect fighters. The aliens watched as humans and predators worked together with impossible trust. Bears that could break trees in half taking orders from small humans. Tigers that could kill, with one bite playing gently with their handlers. Sharks that could smell blood from kilometers away swimming peacefully next to divers. How do you train them? Vexthara asked. Trainer Lim Su-young smiled. We do not train them to fight. They already know how to fight. We train them to fight with us, not against us. She pointed to a young man working with a family of honey badgers. The small animals looked harmless, but the aliens' computers were screaming warnings about them. Honey badgers are fearless, Su-young said. They will fight anything, no matter how big. But they are also smart. They learn fast, they adapt. Just like humans. Dr. Jin-A joined the conversation from her new lab on the orbital station. We are not making Earth animals into weapons. They were always weapons. We are just pointing them at the right target. The swarm will not know what hit them, added Captain Lee Tae-ho. They have fought civilized species for years, species that forgot how to hunt, but they have never fought a world where everything learned to hunt together. As the day ended, the Federation scientists had seen enough. They sent a message to their leaders. Earth was not just bringing soldiers to the war. They were bringing evolution itself. In the training centers around Earth, humans and animals prepared for war. The sounds of the planet had changed. Roars, howls, and calls mixed with human voices. The planet itself seemed to be waking up for battle. Scout John. Mincio sat with her team of ravens as the sun set. The blackbirds cawed softly, sharing information in their complex language. What are they saying? asked a Federation observer. They smell something coming, Minseo translated. Something that does not belong in this galaxy. They want to hunt it. She looked up at the stars where the Federation ships waited. Do not worry, aliens, friends. Earth is ready for war. We have been ready for millions of years. The ravens cawed agreement. It sounded like laughter. Dark, hungry laughter. The first joint operation was supposed to be simple. A small Void Swarm scout fleet had been spotted near the Kepler system. 3 Federation ships and 1 Earth vessel would investigate and report back. Lieutenant Colonel Bei Suho stood on the bridge of the Earthship pack leader. Through the windows he could see the Federation ships. They looked clean and bright. His ship looked different. It was built for Earth's warriors, human and animal alike. Sir, we are dropping out of hyperspace, reported Navigation Officer Park Chan-woo. The stars stopped moving. In front of them, space was full of nightmare creatures. The Void Swarm ships looked like giant insects made of black metal and flesh. They moved like they were alive. By the ancestors, whispered Captain Vexthera over the radio. There are more than we expected. At least 20 ships. Commander Mordoon's voice was shaking. We should retreat. Call for reinforcements. But Suho was watching his tactical display. The swarm ships were moving in patterns. They were hunting patterns. No, he said into his radio. They have already seen us. If we run, they will follow us back to the Federation worlds. We end this, here. With 4 ships against 20? Vexithara asked. Suho smiled. It was not a nice smile. We have more than 4 ships worth of fighters. He turned to his crew. Every human on the bridge wore special armor. Next to each human stood their animal partner. Suho's wolf nuke was beside him, yellow eyes watching the enemy ships. This is it, Suho announced to the ship. First hunt. All teams, prepare for boarding action. In the launch bays, handler Kim Do-won checked his polar bear back's armor one last time. The massive bear wore a suit that let him breathe in space. Weapons were mounted on his shoulders, but his greatest weapons were still his claws and teeth. Ready, old friend? Do-won asked. Beck rumbled agreement. His black eyes were focused and calm. He had been waiting for this hunt. Marine Sergeant Yoon. Hana stood with her 4 tigers. Sul, Dal, Buell, and Hyatt wore armor that made them look like metal and fur war machines. Their eyes glowed green in their helmets. Girls, we have been training for this our whole lives, Hana said. Time to show the galaxy what Earth tigers can do. The tigers made soft chuffing sounds. They were ready to hunt. Pilot Kang Min-ho was already in space with his aerial team. The Golden Eagles and Hawks flew between the ships in the zero gravity, like they were born for it. Their enhanced lungs let them work in thin atmosphere, and their eyes could see heat signatures through metal. I have visual on the enemy ships, Min-ho reported. They have soft spots where the flesh meets the metal. Recommend we go for those weak points. The Federation ships began their attack with energy weapons. The bright beams hit the swarm ships but barely left marks. The alien vessels were too strong. Our weapons are not working, Vexithara shouted over the radio. Because you are fighting them like ships, Suho replied. These are not ships. They are giant animals. You have to hunt them like animals. The pack leader moved closer to the largest swarm vessel. Instead of firing weapons, it opened its docking ports. What are you doing? Morden asked in panic. Going inside, Suho said simply. The first boarding pods launched. Each pod carried a human animal. Team. They crashed into the swarm ship's hull and cut their way inside. Do-won and Bayek were in the first pod. They found themselves in a corridor that pulsed like the inside of a living creature. The walls were covered in slime, and the air smelled like death. Contact front, Do-won reported as swarm warriors came around a corner. They looked like giant black insects with too many arms and glowing red eyes. Beck roared and charged. The sound echoed through the ship like thunder. The polar bear hit the first swarm warrior and crushed it against the wall. His claws tore through, its armor like paper. More swarm creatures came. Do-won fired his rifle while Beck fought with teeth and claws. They worked together like they had trained for years. When Do-won reloaded, Beck protected him. When Bayek was surrounded, Do-won cleared a path. In another part of the ship, Hana and her tigers moved like liquid death through the dark corridors. The tigers could see in the dark and smell enemies before they appeared. Sul pounced on a swarm, warrior from above, while Dal and Buell attacked from the sides. Buell took down an enemy with one bite to the neck. "This is too easy," Hana reported. "These creatures do not know how to fight pack hunters." Above the battle, Minho's birds were causing chaos. The eagles and hawks found the swarm ship's brain center and attacked the organic computer systems. The ravens used their intelligence to figure out which wires to cut. "Enemy ship is losing power," Minho reported. The birds found their weak spots. But the real shock came when Corporal Nam, Gite's team, reached the engine room. He worked with enhanced hunting cats, leopards and jaguars that could climb walls and move in complete silence. The cats moved through the engine room like ghosts. They placed explosives on key systems while Nam picked off guards with his sniper rifle. The swarm warriors never saw them coming. "Charges set," Nam reported. "Recommend all teams retreat to safe distance." As the human-animal teams pulled back, the Federation ships watched in amazement. The mighty swarm vessel that had shrugged off their best weapons was now powerless and breaking apart from the inside. "How?" Vexithara asked in wonder. "Pack hunting," Suho explained as his teams returned to the ship. "The Federation fights like prey animals. You stay together and hope your defenses hold. Earth learned to fight like predators. We split up, we attack weak points, we work together." The other swarm ships tried to retreat, but Suho was not finished. "All teams, hunting formation. Do not let any escape." What followed was not a space battle. It was a hunt. Earth's predators had learned to hunt in 3 dimensions among the stars. The wolves coordinated attacks between multiple ships. The big cats used stealth to get close before striking. The bears used brute force to break through defenses. Indio, 30 minutes, 20 swarm ships were destroyed or crippled. Not one Federation ship was lost. Handler. O.C. Rim's voice came over the radio from the aquatic assault team. They had taken a swarm bioship that was full of liquid corridors. "The dolphins say the swarm creatures are confused," she reported. "They do not understand why we work with other species. They think we are controlling the animals with technology." Scout. John Minseo laughed as her ravens brought back intelligence from damaged swarm ships. "They do not understand cooperation. They only know control and consumption." "That is why they will lose," Suho said as he watched the last swarm ship explode. "They are not pack hunters. They are just a big hungry animal. And every predator on Earth knows how to take down something bigger than itself." Captain Vexithara's voice was quiet with awe. "In 3 years of war, we never won a battle this completely. How did you make it look so easy?" Suho scratched Nuke behind the ears. The wolf was tired but satisfied. The hunt had been good. "Because we brought the right hunters," he said. "And on Earth, everything knows how to hunt." The Federation had found their answer to the Void Swarm. But as news of the victory spread, both sides began to prepare for a much larger war. The Swarm would not underestimate Earth again, and Earth was just getting started. 6 months after the first victory, the war had changed completely. Federation Command was no longer the same rigid organization it had been for centuries. General Huang Jiwu walked through the halls of the new Joint Command Center and smiled at what he saw. A crystalline warrior named Zixtal sat on the floor next to a honey badger. The small earth animal was teaching the rock-like alien how to dig through enemy armor. The badger was patient with its new partner, showing Zixtal the best angles to attack. "Incredible," said Ambassador Choi Byung-soo as he watched. 3 months. Ego Zixtal would not even speak to other species. Now look. The honey badger, named Yang by its handler, climbed onto Zixtal's crystalline shoulder. The alien made a sound like rocks grinding together. It was laughter. "Yang teaches patience," Zixtal said in broken standard language. "Small creature, big heart, big courage." Trainer Lim Soo-young nodded with pride. "The badgers choose their own partners. Yang chose Zixtal because they are both fearless." In another part of the station, something even stranger was happening. An energy being called Fluxara was learning to work with electric eels. The creature was made of pure electricity, but it had never learned to coordinate with other electrical life. The eels teach focus, Fluxara said, its voice crackling like lightning. They show how to use power with precision, not just force. Handler Park Min Jung watched as the eels swam in their special tank. They are teaching Fluxara how to shut down swarm bioships without destroying them. We can capture enemy vessels now instead of just destroying them. But the biggest change was in how the Federation military worked. Captain Vexithara stood in the war room with human and alien officers. The old hierarchy was gone. Now they planned battles like pack hunts. The swarm has adapted, she reported. They are building bigger ships, stronger armor. They learned from our first attacks. General Huang studied the tactical display. Good. That means they are afraid. Fear makes mistakes. How can you be sure? Asked Commander Tolvan, a slug-like alien with too many eyes. Scout John Minseo spoke from her position by the windows. Her ravens were perched around the room, their black eyes watching everything. Because the ravens can smell it. Fear has a scent, even in space. One of the ravens cawed softly. Minseo listened and nodded. Kaok says the swarm ships are moving differently now, slower, more careful. They are no longer hunting. They are hiding. Captain An Kyung-ho entered the room with news from the naval units. His dolphins had been scouting the outer systems with modified submarines that could work in space. The oceanic teams found something interesting, he said. The swarm is not just one species. There are different types. Some are workers. Some are warriors. Some are leaders. Like bees, said Dr. Shin Woo-jin over the communication link. A hive structure. Exactly, An agreed. And like any hive, if you remove the queen, the others become confused. This was new information. The Federation had always thought the swarm was one massive creature spread across many ships. Can we identify the queen ships? Asked High Counselor Morden Handler. Kim Do-won's voice came from the training deck. Back can smell authority. All pack animals can. There is a scent to leadership. On the screen, the massive polar bear was working with a group of Federation soldiers. The aliens moved awkwardly at first, but Bayek was patient. He showed them how to move quietly, how to work together, how to trust each other. The bear is teaching them pack behavior, Do-won explained. Cooperation, not just coordination. Lieutenant Colonel Bae Soo-ho watched from another screen. He was on a Federation world working with their military leaders. His wolf pack surrounded him as always. The problem with civilized species, Soo-ho said, is that you forgot how to be animals. You think being smart means not being wild. But wildness is intelligence, it is survival. A Federation general, a tall bird-like creature called Kritok, looked skeptical. Wildness is chaos. Order wins wars. Nuke, Soo-ho's alpha wolf, walked up to Kritok and sat down. The wolf looked directly into the alien's eyes. After a long moment, Kritok's feathers fluffed up with understanding. Order is death, Soo-ho continued. Rigid order cannot adapt. But pack order can change, can grow, can learn. Watch. Soo-ho made a hand signal. Instantly his wolves spread out around the room. They moved without sound, each one taking a position that gave them the best view and attack angle. Then Soo-ho whistled softly, and they regrouped in a different formation. This took no planning, he said. No meetings, no reports, no chain of command. Just trust and understanding. Kritok's feathers were still fluffed. Remarkable. Your wolves think like one mind, but each keeps its own will. Exactly. That is what we are teaching the Federation. Marine Sergeant Yoon Ha-na joined the conversation from her position on the front lines. Her tigers were with her, resting after a successful raid on a swarm outpost. The swarm thinks like a hive, she said. One mind, many bodies, but when we cut communications between their ships, they become stupid. They do not know how to think for themselves. Unlike Earth predators, added Corporal Nam Gi-tae. His hunting, cats were spread across the ceiling of his ship, watching for threats. Every cat can hunt alone or with the group. They think for themselves and for the pack. Pilot Kang Min-ho's voice came from deep space, where his birds were scouting swarm movements. The enemy is massing for a big attack. Hundreds of ships, but they are staying together in one big group. Hive thinking, General Huang said. They believe numbers equal strength. On Earth we know different, said Handler O. Seirim. Her orcas had been teaching Federation species about coordinated hunting. Many small packs can surround one big herd. The conversation was interrupted by an emergency signal. A Federation world called Telos Prime was under attack. The swarm had sent their largest fleet yet, over 500 ships. This is it, General, Huang said. The big test. All Federation forces prepare for Operation Great Hunt. As the joint fleet prepared to leave, something amazing happened. Alien species that had never worked together before moved in perfect coordination. Crystalline warriors marched alongside honey badgers. Energy beings coordinated with electric eels. Bird-like aliens flew with Earth's eagles and hawks. Look at them, Ambassador Choi said with wonder. They are not just allies anymore. They are packmates. Dr. Jin A watched from her lab as the fleet departed. We did not just teach them to fight alongside Earth's predators. We taught them to be predators themselves. The swarm will not expect this, Trainer Lim said as she watched her students prepare for battle. They still think the Federation fights like prey animals. They are about to learn different, General Huang said as his command ship joined the fleet. Around him, humans and aliens and Earth predators prepared for the biggest hunt in galactic history. In the depths of space, the Void Swarm waited with their massive fleet. They had grown stronger, larger, more deadly. But they were still thinking like a hive. They did not understand that they were no longer fighting prey animals running in fear. They were about to face the galaxy's apex predators, working together as one great pack. The final hunt was about to begin, and for the first time in 3 years of war, the swarm was the one being hunted. The space around Telos Prime looked like a nightmare. 500 Void Swarm ships moved in a dark cloud toward the peaceful blue world. Each ship was bigger than before, covered in spikes and armor. They had learned from their defeats. Admiral Song Jae-hyun stood on the bridge of the flagship Earth's Fury. Around him, the Joint Federation fleet waited in the shadows of 3 moons. 200 ships against 500. The numbers looked bad, but Song was not worried about numbers. He was thinking about the hunt. All pack leaders report status, he said into his communications array. Handler Team Alpha ready, came the voice of Lee Hyo-jin. Her unit worked with the Apex Predator partnerships, the most dangerous combinations Earth had created. Tigers, bears, and wolves all prepared for boarding actions. Aerial squadron standing by, reported pilot Kang Min-ho. His enhanced eagles and hawks were already in space, invisible to swarm sensors. We have eyes on their command ships. Oceanic assault teams in position, added Captain An Kyung-ho. His dolphins and orcas were in specialized space swimmers, ready to navigate the bioship's liquid corridors. But the most important voice belonged to Dr. Ryu Tae-young, the coordinator of biological warfare. Admiral, the Ravens have found something interesting. Song listened as Scout Jun Min-seo translated for her birds. The Ravens can smell something the computers cannot detect. Fear. The swarm is afraid, but not of our weapons. They are afraid of something else. What? Song asked. Us, Min-seo said simply. They are afraid of the predators. The Ravens say the swarm smells like prey trying to look dangerous. This was unexpected. Song had thought the swarm would be confident with their larger fleet. General Huang's voice came from the tactical center. Admiral, we are detecting strange patterns in their formation. The biggest ships are in the center, surrounded by smaller ones. Defensive formation, observed Lieutenant Colonel Bae Suho. His wolves were spread throughout the fleet, each pack working with different alien units. They are protecting something. The Queen ships? Realized Handler Kim Do-won. His polar bear Baek was sniffing the air even in his sealed suit. Baek can smell the leadership pheromones from here. Song smiled. The swarm had made a mistake. They had put their most important ships where they felt safest, in the center of their formation. But pack hunters knew that was exactly where to strike. All units commence Operation Deep Hunt, Song ordered. What happened next had never been seen in galactic warfare. The Federation fleet did not attack as one force. Instead, they spread out like wolves circling a herd. Handler Team Alpha struck first. Lee Hyo-jin, Park Chan-woo, and Kim Yeon-soo led boarding pods directly at the outer swarm ships, but they were not trying to destroy them. They were trying to get through them. Breaching outer shell, reported Hyo-jin as her Tiger Sul tore through a bio-ship's hull, moving to inner corridors. Inside the swarm ship, Sul and her sister Tigers moved like liquid death. The swarm warriors tried to stop them, but the Tigers had learned to fight in zero gravity. They used the walls and ceiling as much as the floor. Behind the Tigers came Federation soldiers who had learned pack tactics. Crystalline warriors worked with honey badgers to break through armored bulkheads. Energy beings coordinated with electric eels to shut down organic computers. But the real breakthrough came when the oceanic teams reached the bioship's nerve centers. Handler Osirim and her orcas found that the swarm ships were connected by biological networks, like a nervous system spread across space. Admiral, O's voice was excited. The ships are not separate. They are all connected by organic communication lines. If we can cut the connections. Do it, Song ordered. The orcas and dolphins went to work. They found the bio cables that connected the swarm ships and began severing them. Each cut made the swarm formation a little more confused, a little slower to react. Meanwhile, Pilot Minho's aerial units were causing chaos in the upper atmosphere. His eagles had learned to work in space like they worked in Earth's skies. They dove between the massive swarm ships, targeting sensor arrays and communication nodes. The big ships are going blind, Minho reported. They cannot see what is happening around them. But the most devastating attack came from an unexpected source. Corporal Nam Gi-tai and his hunting cats had learned something new during the months of fighting. They had learned to hunt in 4 dimensions. Admiral, requesting permission to use the new tactic, Nam said from his stealth pod. Song hesitated. The new tactic was dangerous. Are you sure? The cats are sure. They have been practicing. Do it. Nam's hunting cats, leopards, jaguars, and lynx enhanced for space combat, did something impossible. They used the swarm's own bioships as stepping stones, leaping from ship to ship in space like they were jumping between trees. Each cat carried small but powerful explosives. They moved so fast and so silently that the swarm never saw them coming. Within minutes, key ships throughout the enemy formation were losing power and life support. Incredible, whispered Captain Vexithera from her command ship. They are hunting, an entire fleet like it was one large animal. But the swarm was not finished. The queen ships in the center began to glow with malevolent energy. They were preparing some kind of weapon that could destroy entire planets. All units, priority target, Song announced. Take down those queen ships before they can fire. This was the moment everything had been building toward. The entire joint fleet converged on the center of the swarm formation like a pack of wolves bringing down a wounded mammoth. Handler Team Alpha's Tigers reached the first queen ship and began tearing through its defenses. Federation soldiers followed, working in perfect coordination with their animal partners. Deep inside the queen ship, Marine Sergeant Yoon Hana and her Tigers found something shocking. The ship's brain center was not a computer or a hive mind. It was a single massive creature that looked like a cross between an octopus and a spider. Admiral, Hana reported. The queen is not a ship. It is a living creature, and it is afraid. The creature was indeed afraid. For millions of years, the Void Swarm had been the apex predator of their home galaxy. They had eaten everything, consumed entire civilizations. They came to this galaxy expecting the same easy victory. But they had never faced Earth's children. They had never encountered species that hunted for sport, not just survival. Species that worked together not from hive programming, but from choice and trust. It is trying to communicate, Hana said, as the queen creature cowered before her. Tigers. It wants to surrender. Song was quiet for a long moment. Then he spoke to the entire fleet. All units cease fire. The hunt is over. Across the battlefield, human and alien voices ask the same question. Sir? Look at your scanners, Song said. Look at the swarm ships. Throughout the enemy formation, the bioships were going dark. Not destroyed, but shut down. The queen creatures were surrendering, and their programming told the entire swarm to stop fighting. They are not invaders. Dr. Ryu's voice came over the comm. They are refugees. The ravens were right. They smell like prey, not predators. Over the following hours, the truth came out. The Void Swarm had fled their home galaxy because something even worse was hunting them. They came to this galaxy not to conquer, but to hide. When they found resistance, their survival instincts told them to consume everything before the real hunters arrived. But Earth's predators recognized the truth. The swarm were not apex hunters. They were just scared animals trying to survive. What do we do now? Asked Ambassador Choi Byung-soo. Admiral Song looked at the disabled swarm fleet, then at his own forces. Humans and aliens and Earth predators, working together in perfect harmony. They had not just won a war, they had found something better. Now we teach them what we learned, Song said. How to be part of the pack instead of hiding from the hunt. General Huang nodded. The galaxy is big enough for everyone, but only if everyone learns to work together. In the months that followed, the Void Swarm became the Void Alliance. Their bioships were converted from weapons to exploration vessels. Their queens became coordinators instead of devourers, and throughout the galaxy, the lesson of Earth spread. Not the lesson of being the strongest, but the lesson of being the smartest, the lesson of working together. Captain Vexithera stood in the new Galactic Council chambers, watching humans, aliens, and former swarm creatures planning the next exploration mission. A honey badger sat on her shoulder, and she no longer found. It's strange. What changed? She asked Dr. Jinne. Ginny smiled as she watched a group of young beings, human, alien, and swarm, playing together in the corner. They were already learning to work as a pack. Nothing changed, she said. We just remembered what we always were. Not the strongest species in the galaxy, just the ones who learned how to make everyone else stronger too. Outside the station, Earth's predators and their new alien partners patrolled the space lanes. Not as conquerors, but as guardians. The galaxy had found its apex protectors. The hunt would continue. But now, everyone was part of the pack.